I want to talk about Wild West Stockholm. This is the capital of Sweden. Gangland violence has gripped the Swedish capital. An 18-year-old rapper has been killed on a sports field. A second man shot dead. A bomb blast killing an innocent woman 25 years old, in her home, all within 12 hours. And actually there has been massive changes in Sweden in recent years, and Stockholm is a place I visited and I saw it as a very sort of peaceful, pretty prosperous place, but things are definitely changing. Why are they changing? Well, let's talk to Charlie Weimers, who is a Swedish politician, member of the European Parliament. Charlie, you're very welcome to talkTV this morning. How are you?
Thank you, I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. Charlie, just paint a picture of what is happening in Sweden, because there is a lot changing. Why is it changing and what's happening?
Well, what we're seeing now is not less than a national emergency, and don't take my word for it. One of the spokesmen for the police said on the 9 o'clock news this week that what we're seeing is low-intensive warfare, and we need to restore law and order now. But in order to do so, we need to be aware of the roots of this problem, and needs to be stated plain and clear. It has with decades of ultra-liberal migration policy to do. Sweden has undergone a demographic revolution. Today we have 20% of our population born outside the country. And the Swedish National Council for Crime Prevention found that 30% of all men living in Sweden born in Africa, 25 of those born in the Middle East, had been registered as suspects of a crime during the 4-year period they studied. More than half of all crime in Sweden is now perpetrated by individuals with a foreign background. And, well, you reap what you sow.
I mean, this is very, very interesting, because Sweden has always been a country where some form of immigration has happened, surely, but why is this happening now, do you think?
Well, what the authorities have seen is that second-generation immigrants are more prone to violence and crime than first-generation immigrants, who often are more grateful for the fact that they have been able to come to the country. That it's happening right now is because of many years of a very naive policy with regards to immigration, with regards to deportations of criminal individuals with foreign passports. It just didn't happen, with very, very low punishments, low penalties for gang members. A whole range of combined factors leading up to this, and finally now we are starting to do something about it. But I mean, it's very late in the process, and you even see infiltration into the justice system by organized gangs, placing lawyers, prosecutors, being related to these networks. For instance, this Foxtrot network that has been on this shooting spree in Stockholm the latest weeks.
Yeah, it's interesting that Sweden's centre-right government has been tightening laws around gang-related crime. The head of Sweden's police, you referenced there earlier, has said that warring gangs have brought an unprecedented wave of violence to the country. I mean, we just don't, here in the UK anyway, we just don't think of Sweden as a particularly violent country. But how are people, ordinary citizens, reacting to this, and what are they asking their leaders to do, Charlie, sorry.
No problem. A little less talk, a lot more action. That's what people want. They want to see a difference on the ground, and we are doing our utmost to deliver that. My party has for many years said that the military must be enabled to assist the police under police command, of course, but to actually strengthen the resources of the police that way. The Social Democrats was against that until a few months ago, and now they are demanding the government to do this reform. We are allowing for preventive wiretapping, finally. We are making it easier to deport criminal individuals, but a lot more needs to be done. And my party has said very clearly that we need to hold the police leadership to account, because they have been part of this very lax attitude towards gang violence for a long time. And I don't know how many frustrated police officers I met, not being supported in their efforts to fight crime. So we want to fire the leadership and replace them with someone who will proactively restore law and order. We also think that we need to emulate Denmark, stop and frisk in no-go zones, double the punishment of gang criminals, and emulate the UK by introducing widespread use of CCTV, RICO laws, and we're looking
are there, I mean, you
at
mentioned
all options right now.
Charlie, you mentioned the United Kingdom there. Are there lessons, you're learning some lessons in terms of CCTV from the UK, but obviously we have migrants arriving on our shores almost every day on small boats, and a lot of them are people who we just don't know where they're from or what their backgrounds are. What lessons do you think the UK can learn from Sweden, or maybe there aren't lessons to learn?
Well, there are lessons to learn on how not to do. Don't let the situation go this far. I mean, the UK has, to a certain extent, similar problems in places like Bradford and other places. But I would say that what Britain is doing right now, discussing whether the Refugee Convention is applicable for our times, is a very important discussion.
Is that debate going on? Is that debate on the European Convention on Human Rights and the 1951 provisions, is that going on in Sweden as well?
I intend to start that debate because it's necessary.
Interesting. So we could possibly have an ally there. Charlie, thank you very, very much indeed. That's Charlie Weimers, who is a member of the European Parliament. He's a Swedish politician, telling us what's happening there.